waters that you fish, what are some tips that you would say, this is what I like to do, guys?
Sure. Obviously experience is everything, being able to kind of see that fish, and because you've seen enough of them, you notice that little fin flare, you notice that little kick of the tail, and you can really tell what kind of a mood or how interested they might be. And that's going to determine how fast you're going to get into that figure eight, or how much you're going to lead them. I know when I'm burning in the summertime, I'm trying to keep it away from them. And the more I try to keep it away from them, as long as I'm making it big enough for them to make it a turn, they're going to get up harder. They're going to hit that bait better. They're not going to nip it. I'm really trying to trigger that big hit, and speed and taking it away from them works well for me. Also, if you do get finicky fish, I do like to change where I am in the water level or the water column as well. Digging a little bit deeper as you're coming towards yourself, and really hanging it out on the top, where most of those hits tend to come.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's a thing. And these fish that you're getting here in the summer, are you pulling them out of the real thick stuff a lot of times? And do you find the fish burying up a lot?
Yeah, it depends on our conditions. We can get cold fronts in the summertime that will push fish in, back up into those weed lines from that deeper water. We'll get a morning and a night bite where some of these deeper fish will push right back into, those weed lines in that 12 to 15 feet of water that we have in our lakes around here. But then, you'll also have, a little bit deeper fish where we'll throw those out off of the breaks on our okachis, okonomowocks. Whether we're adding our own weights to their blades or we're using, weighted blades. I'm still throwing blades, even if I'm in sometimes 40 feet of water, 45 feet of water, throwing up into, 7, 8, 9 feet of water. These fish, you get a ton of hits where you'll never see the fish, but it will just come straight up from underneath the boat and grab your bait. Mm-hmm. And unless you're doing that full figure eight every time, you don't ever have a chance at that bait, because that fish, you just don't see her coming.
Yeah.
So I'm used to always doing a figure eight, because they do come late. Is definitely is huge around here.
Yeah. Now you'd mentioned night fishing there, and you sent me some, some pics and stuff of some night fishing stuff that you've done. This one here, it kind of shows, you can see the moon in the background there. And one thing I'm interested in here is the green light. You run the light off the side of the boat?
Yeah. So I guess the story behind these, when I was probably still a teenager, I was at a tournament early in the morning, and I saw the boats there that had, the green lights or the black light, the purple on the side. And I just thought to myself, Oh my gosh, that is the coolest thing ever. I have to do that. So, I've been fishing like this, that it's strip LED lighting, that's running along the outside gunnel. It's pointed straight down into the water. So, you're seeing the fish come in, 10, 15 feet away. What's really neat about it is the fish doesn't know that the boat's there. It can't see you. It can't see your silhouette. It can only pick out that lure. So when it comes to the boat, it's there to eat. I've had fish that just keep hitting the lure 3-4 times, keep coming back until they actually get it in its mouth. You don't see as many of them at night as you do during the day, but the ones that you see eat. I'm a firm believer that there's just totally different fish that are active at night that you just will never see during the day.
Sure. The blacklight stuff, I've never really played around with that. When I did a lot of my night fishing stuff back in the Mille Lacs days and some of the other lakes, we just did I wonder how far my bait's out. Oh, it's right there. Mm-hmm. Or we do a figure eight and we have 10 feet of line out. So that's why I started doing the leaders, where you could tied a unit knot in the leader and could kind of reel it up my eyelets, and it worked pretty well. The
Yeah,
But
I even did the glow bead back before that, where I just did
yep.
the glow bead above something
Uh-huh.
just to help pick it out. But you
Hmm.
definitely don't need that with with the green lights. Really, the only time or the only reason I'm even wearing a headlamp is just to turn it on, to go grab a net or something like that.
Sure. Sure.
Otherwise, you don't need any headlamps. You can see everything. It's safer fishing at night. I feel like with
Yeah.
them. Um,
Now,
you have
how late at night are you fishing? I mean, are you doing all nighters? Are you doing a couple hours after dark? How late are you going when you're doing the night stuff?
Sure, it's definitely going to depend on the moon. I'm always trying to plan my trips around what the moon's doing. I want two windows at least during an 8 hour trip, and sometimes we'll plan that out to go into the evening a little bit longer. If we're fishing, our clear water lakes around here, and that sun is high, that's a tough bite in the summertime here. And if that's going to be the case, we're usually going to start later in the afternoon so that sun's already at a low angle in the sky. We're already getting, bites and getting active fish. And then we're going right into the evening, maybe 11, 12, kind of depends on when that moon is going to finish. Typically, that full moon midnight bite is a pretty phenomenal bite if you're willing to stay out for it.
Sure. No, I've been through all of them. I know that you can get a fish every minute of the day. It just depends on where they're at. So this guy here's a night fish you got. Now it doesn't look like it's too dark here. It looks like you still got a bit of twilight there. It's not super dark just yet.
Yeah, we took this one without any flash just to kind of give a sense of what it looks like. As you know, when you're looking at any picture in dusk, it looks a lot darker than it actually is. Video or picture, but kind of shows you how, like for the net there, how anything that goes in there, in front of those lights down below the gunwale line just lights up.
Yeah. So what time of year is this?
This is probably September.
Okay. Now, are you running live bait there as well?
I might, yeah, I probably had still a sucker, and these we caught I think 3 or 4 this afternoon, evening, and they all came on blades. David and Goliath bucktails, actually.
What is that? I don't know that one. Who makes that?
David Whitsack. Yeah, he's here in Stoughton, Wisconsin, the Madison area. He makes just awesome. Forgive me, this was in the box, so it doesn't look maybe quite as big and beautiful as it once was, but I do like that everything is resin coated and strung here, so you can just pull on these things all day long and nothing comes out of them. So you catch a lot of fish on them, and they hold up. Also, everything from the hair, he does bear hair, which that's got some resistance in the water. How thick it is.
I've never had a bear hair bucktail. That sounds like
bear hair bucktail. Yeah, even smells a little.
That
funny.
Sounds like what? That sounds like a club that I probably should not go to. That actually sounds like that sounds like a fat gay man strip club.
Well, I got a ginger one.
A ginger hair. Ooh. Yeah. Even on the main stage.
Yeah, that was a good one for me this summer.
Wow, I've never heard of a bear hair bucktail, but I want one now. Just to have that. I had an emu one time from Eagle Tail. Never caught anything on it. I just love saying emu while I was fishing it. But yeah, I know George made those for a while. And then you've got this fish here you sent me. It looks a lot. Now, is it the same time of night and just you just added a flash or what?
That one was actually a mayfish. You kind of see the green on the side, but yeah, that one had the flash going.
So you do much night fishing in May?
It all depends on how warm it is. When the temps drop in the evening, late in the year and early in the year, no one really wants to be out in the cold like that. It's a little bit tougher fishing, keeping your hands warm with no sun. It's definitely got to be warm enough. I'm looking for those days, and typically those are better days where they bite. When you have fair weather evenings, overnight, those are the ones that I like.
Yeah. No, that's that's cool there. But so at night, what kind of baits are you throwing after dark? I mean, do you have like a set of baits that you say, okay, these are my night baits, or what?
That's a good question. Yeah, it definitely shrinks, the amount of baits that I start pulling out at night. I tend to go a little bit bigger, a little bit more vibration.
Okay.
A little
more bear hair.
Sure. Yeah. Some more water displacement. I've got no problem, throwing the next size up lure when we move to night. For no reason other than it's a little bit easier, I think, for them to track down, for them to get their their teeth on it, and just have better luck, on the bigger stuff. I've also done a little bit more on the little bit more vibration, a little bit more resistance in the water. Where if I'm throwing a single, I might go to a double, or if I'm throwing a Colorado, I might do more of like a flute or something like that might move a little bit more water. So,
do you ever throw any rubber after dark?
Actually, I caught some fish on tubes and Medusas after dark. Those have been the two consistent ones that I'm willing to throw on, confidently after dark.
Sure. Back in Minnesota, back in the early days, it seemed like in June, especially, which is opener in Minnesota, rubber that first month, if you were going to night fish, rubber was the best bait after dark. There we're throwing, at the time we were throwing mag dogs, pounders, and some regular, reg Medusas. This was before the Husky was made. And, it seemed like early, especially, and I was fishing a lot of Clearwater lakes then. And, it seemed like that rubber, that subtlety of that tail early in the season was a great, bait after dark. I didn't know if that was something that you had seen at all.
Yeah, no, I've had luck on those. The only one I think I take off the table a little bit more, although I still have caught fish on them. But the glide, I tend to throw a little bit less as we get more into the evening. I like it to be a little bit kind of almost steadier action as well. I'm a little less erratic, with how hard I'm twitching or ripping. And it seemed to have worked for me. But, I'll be honest, the more and more time I get in the night, the more and more I figure out about it. Because there's oftentimes I'm the only one out there a lot of times in the evenings. And the trend's catching on. We've got the crappie guys and some walleye guys that now have some green lights on the lakes around me.
Sure.
I think some people are also having luck with other species as well. And thinking it's probably nice not having all the boats, driving in circles around me all day, and the wakeboard boats and everything you deal with on these, suburban Milwaukee waters.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. And so now we're getting in later in the year. We're starting to get into fall, September. Then I love September. I think September is probably one of the best muskie months across the board, no matter where you're at. In your area, I'm sure, I've not fished. I've fished Milwaukee a little bit, not too much. Never done that great there. Madison, I fished it and with some success in the fall. And, you get that nice shallow water push of fish. And to me, that's can be some of the funnest fishing because it's top water bucktails, early morning, late evening. If you get a cloudy day, it can be all day long. And is that something that you key in on?
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, you seem to, as soon as you get that first temperature drop, where it drops at 5-6 degrees, from, let's say, mid 70s or low 70s, and, that the first drop, all of a sudden you start getting those big fish that maybe were hanging out in the little basin more, showing up in shallow structure. They start moving on bucktails, rubber, stuff like that. It's a fun time too, because almost every bait is on the table at that point. As long as you're working quick, I feel like they're moving. I've also had a ton of luck at that time of the year with really big suckers. The reason I run really big suckers early, one, the water temperature is 70 degrees lots of times around here through the entire month of October, this last handful of years. So to keep a sucker alive in 70-degree water, it's not easy. It's got to be big. It's got to be strong, especially if you're moving around, half a mile to a mile per hour and trying to also cast. So it's also got to get through all of the weeds, all the surface weeds that are still on the water. And so if you're going to run these suckers, you want them to be swimming. You want them to be swimming hard. If they can't swim away from that muskie, or if they're playing possum, you just don't get hit as often. So big suckers, 13 minimum, but definitely that 14, 15-inch suckers. That's been real well, or done real well for me the last few years in September.
Yeah, no, I get that. And then also you're talking, bigger fish moving shallow. Here's actually, you sent me a video, and I'm glad you got this on video. This is from the PMTT. You can tell the guys about it, the PMT last year on Iowa. And this was first thing in the morning, right? This was actually big fish for the tournament. Yeah,
so it's tough traveling, in somebody else's boat. You have to pick what you're going to bring. You don't get to bring all your lures, except for you. I've seen how you travel. You definitely bring most of your lures.
Yes.
Maybe not most of them, but you bring a lot more than I do. So I was there. We were pre-fishing. I knew what I wanted, what I needed. I just didn't have it. I wanted, black and chartreuse and black and orange spinnerbaits. I was using chaoses. I liked chaoses for this situation only because the size of the fish in this lake are smaller. They're just not really that big. And I like that bait has a lot of vibration. The downfall to it is that the wire is so thin on it that you might get 1, 2, maybe 3 fish out of that bait before it breaks. So going into the first day, I knew I didn't have this bait. I called Trevor at Chaos. I said, hey, I need these baits. Trevor got them overnighted to me. So Friday after day one, not getting a fish, but having some opportunities, the package was there for me. And I said, okay, let's get it done Saturday morning. And we showed up to the first spot. And yeah, it was probably within the first 20 minutes, this fish hit. I was ticking the weeds, and I knew I was in the right level and the right speed if I was ticking the weeds on the way in. I had to tick 1, 2, 3 times where I had to give that little rip off of them. And you can kind of see me rip 1 or 2 times on the way in off of that. And that's how we were, getting our hits and also moving fish.
Yeah, no. And this one here, this fish was a fighter. It's definitely fighting too hard for a tournament. I just want him to come over and roll over.
I wasn't playing her out by any means. she was digging pretty good.
Yeah, no, it's that's cool. No, I remember you guys got that on Saturday. We had a good Friday, and Saturday we just got our ass kicked. And
yeah, you killed it Friday.
And this fish came early. Do you find that though this time of year, like in September? Do you find, because I do, early mornings, evenings for those fish that are up shallow is always the best. Totally. And but I mean, for me, even over evening, I think early morning is by far the best because it's the coolest point of the day. Those fish that are up there, they slide up there at night, and they love that shallow water is the coolest it's been, and I think they just like it. It's I don't know if it's oxygenated better, the temperature's down or what it is, but something they like it up there, and I find mornings to be the best.
Yeah, I think you're right. At that time of the year, when we are still kind of, above, say, 50s, what we would call, our later fall type bite. I think you definitely get that push early in the morning. I think they're definitely looking for the cooler water. I think as we go a little bit later into the year and you start, fishing in low 50s to 40s to 30s, then it flips. And then I'm always trying to do the afternoon, the warmest part of the day, because just that surface temp going up 1, 2, 3 degrees just from the sun cooking it. It's amazing. It's one of the few times where even if you don't have that moon window, that warmest time of the afternoon still seems to always produce all fall long.
Sure. And so we actually have, then we'll come to this video here, sucker video you got. What's going on here?
So we, this is actually another cool thing. So everyone's on Pewaukee by me, but if you look around here, I'll have these entire lakes to myself sometimes in the fall because everyone's focusing on that. And it's really neat because, once you figure out the handful of those key spots, you got them to yourself all day, maybe 2 days in a row. Maybe you can go back on them. You're still the only one that hit them. So as you can kind of see here from the screen there, I think it said I was in 3.5 feet of water. We were probably in maybe 5 feet of water or so. Working really shallow because this is where we actually still had some sand grass and just a little bit of grass in this lake holds so much fish because there's a real lack of vegetation. So the little bit of grass there was holding fish. She came up, ate, turned back around on her. Because we're so shallow, it's nice to be able to see the fish. I always want to make sure I know where the head is and where the tail is, what direction they're going, and go right back into them. Very, very rarely do I have a muskie that drops a sucker, and if they do drop it, usually they come back and eat it if it's a big fish or if they actually want it. I don't think that there's any rush to that bobber's down, swimming away, and just grab it and set the hook. I would rather take out as much line as possible, get up over that fish and figure out which way they're going and really put the screws to them, because there's so many times that a fish hits the net and opens its mouth, the sucker comes out, the hooks aren't in anything. That you just hung onto the sucker and let go when it hit the net. And sometimes I wonder why I even use hooks.
Yeah, no, I get it. I've had that a lot myself, and it's pretty amazing that you actually are able to land the darn things when we do that. But so, Collin, that's kind of how your year goes right there. How could somebody get a hold of you if they want to go fishing with you?
You can go through my website, which will send me an email. That's hardcorehookin with a n.com. You can also
Hardcore Hookin. That also sounds sounds like a gentleman's club. Hardcore Hookin, or that actually sounds like an ad my sister would run on Backpage. That would be that if she was into hardcore hooking, she'd do that on Backpage. That's definitely a Backpage.
If you put the G in there, I'm told that it does take you to not a fishing site. Which is why I throw that out.
In Kentucky, we can't look at that. That's illegal. We can't go to those websites unless you become a member, and I can't afford that.
You can find me on Facebook as well. My Hardcore Hookin' page, also Instagram, and then you can just call or text me my phone number. Can I say that on here?
Sure. Yeah, I'll write it on just very few bathroom stalls.
Not again. 414-803-6711. And that's how you get a hold of me.
All right, man. Well, that sounds good. Are you going to be at any of the muskie? We got the Wausau show left. Are you going to be at that show?
Definitely. Being a Wausau native, I can't miss Wausau. So, I love that one. That's got, in my opinion, some of the best bait builders around. Just really, really good baits and good bait makers that come to that show. And, I always look forward to it. So I'll be at that one for sure.
Nice. Well, good deal, man. Well, hey, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. And here at the end, guys, if you're looking for, on more places to buy musky baits, or you're wanting to buy some new rods, I've been using their rods for a long time. Electronics, check out Thorn Brothers. They're there in Minneapolis, thornbros.com. All kinds of stuff there. And also, if you're looking for a new rain gear, new fishing shirt, and you're like me and you're too fat to wear Sims, check out Gill products. Gill Fishing. I've been wearing their rain suits and using their sun shirts for the last few years. Been really well. The only thing that gets wet on me is my crotch, because I cannot reach over my trolling motor with my legs. And I split my crotch open. So other than that, they work great. Everything's all good. But hey, Collin, thanks for coming on, buddy. Hopefully we'll get you on here again. And I really appreciate it. Thank you.
And my pleasure, Greg. Good to talk with you, and look forward to seeing you soon.
All right. We'll see you.
Take care.